doesn't mean weak. Strong is brave and ready to fight for the life of his citizens and citizens of the world, for human rights, for freedom, for the right to live decently and to die when your time comes.
Ukraine President Zelenskyy imploring President Biden to do more to help Ukraine during his powerful speech to Congress.
So is this a lesson in leadership for President Biden? Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee joins us now. Governor, what could Joe Biden learn from that speech?
Well, the most important thing is how to communicate. Zelenskyy is a master at communicating. People say, well, he's an actor. He may be, but I'm telling you, he's also a leader, and communication is a very important part of leadership. More importantly than simply his ability to speak is the fact that he has stayed put, and he has gone out and visited the people of Ukraine. He has been defiant to Putin, and he's shown us what leadership looks like, which is never ask others to do what you're unwilling to do. He's asked the people of Ukraine to stand and fight. That's exactly what he's done. Leadership is always putting yourself in the front of the line and say, follow me, rather than, hey, you guys, go do this. And it's been a remarkable inspiration.
That is so true. And, you know, we heard from President Zelenskyy yesterday, and then shortly after President Biden's response, and it was in the form of $800 million worth of aid. The MiGs weren't a part of that package, but Congress was clearly moved and motivated by Vladimir Zelensky's speech. Do you think that the members of Congress will be able to pressure President Biden to move forward and take that next step to help Zelenskyy and his cause?
Carly, I certainly hope so. The thing I want to make sure that everybody fully understands, Zelenskyy has not called for American soldiers to land and parachute on Ukrainian soil and fight their fight. He's not asked for U.S. Air Force pilots to fly over those skies. What he's asked for is the tools so that he and his people can do the fighting against the Russian aggressors. And that's something that I don't think gets emphasized enough. So when people say we're going to draw America into the war, well, no, what we're going to do is we're going to supply the capacity for Ukraine to fight back this evil, maniacal dictator, Vladimir Putin, who is, I think, maybe the worst dictator tyrant since Adolf Hitler. When you showed just a little bit ago those horrible pictures where they're bombing theaters, knowing children are there, how much more evil can one be than that?
Finally, Governor, a blow to patriotism here in the U.S. The National Park Service blocking the Mount Rushmore 4th of July celebration for the second year in a row, citing tribal concerns, but also fire concerns. It's March. How do they know what the dew point is going to be 4 months from now, Governor?
Todd, these are the smartest people in the world. They can predict the weather 60 years from now, plus 60 days from now. It is absurd. And, you know, it's one thing to say if there is a fire danger, that's legitimate. But let's wait until maybe a few days or even a week before to make that determination. In the meantime, Americans could be cheated from a spectacular display of patriotism. But sometimes you wonder, does the Biden administration want a very red state like South Dakota to be able to do that and celebrate this great country of ours?
Yeah, and you know, Governor, President Zelenskyy even mentioned Mount Rushmore in his speech yesterday, recalling when he visited and saw the faces of the founding fathers who laid out and the presidents who laid out the future of our country, and he's asking us to help him with democracy and freedom in his. So important moment in that speech as well. Governor, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,